right off rip, you know I was scouring this bitch for the first sign of failure. Two of my absolute favorite things, Warhammer 40K and boomer shooters, together in the same game, simply too good to be true. Not in this modern timeline, hell no. The idea of the modern gaming industry putting out anything as good as this sounded was just insane to me. You may have been feeling something similar, thinking there's gotta be a catch somewhere, right? It couldn't just be fucking rad and that'd be the end of it, right? Right? Actually, yeah. Right. It is just fucking rad. Holy shit. Let's get deep inside. Now, I won't go super long on this. It's a retro shooter. It's pretty simple. Y'all know what it is. Take about 10 hours worth of levels, split it up into a couple chapters, add in 8 totally awesome weapons that you use to blast apart everything in those levels, throw in some secrets, hidden items, and bicky bam. If you did your job right, you've got something that fucking rules. And I am pleased to inform you that the devs absolutely did their job right. Boltgun fucking rules. Now, to be clear, it doesn't just rule because it's a 40k game. You could have no idea what 40k even is, and you will still love this. Most important thing beyond nailing the vibes of the madness of 40k, beyond the implementation of a great engine or getting the pixelation effect just right, is that it has to feel good. A game feeling good is understandably hard to quantify, it's kind of ineffable, but it is incredibly critical, even more so in a retro shooter. Now, if I had to put it into words, say something like it's got to feel fast but tight, chaotic but precise, twitchy yet weighty. Many people would shorten all that to simply say it's got to have a very arcade feel. However you want to describe it, without a doubt, Boltgun does manage to nail it. Just like modern classics before it, like Dusk and Ion Fury, feels amazing. No fall damage, huge hulking footsteps that really let you feel the size of the fucking space marine that you're controlling, yet you can easily fly across the room in like a bunny hopping tornado of carnage, to borrow a phrase from PC Gamer's review. Minimal backtracking or reloading, but just the right amount of keycard hunting, item scrounging, and arena clearing. Next, let's talk just a bit about the arsenal. Your starting weapon is the titular Boltgun, essentially an assault rifle that fires mini grenades. Despite this being your basic fallback weapon assigned to one, it never manages to feel any less powerful no matter how far through the game you progress or how many other weapons you get. Next up, Boltgun passes one of the most important FPS tests, the shotgun. It's great. I don't care what anyone says, 9 times out of 10 you can judge an FPS on how good the shotgun is. The action here is smooth, the pellets spread wide, animation rhythm is perfect, and the pop enemies make when you nail them suitably satisfying. Awesome. After the shotgun, you've got plasma guns, heavy bolters, a mini time delay missile launcher, even Volkite styled rail, and melta-guns. Not only are they all perfect for and pulled directly from the 40k universe, they're perfect just as a well-rounded shooter arsenal, especially the chainsword that you have, which is your melee weapon assigned to right click. When you trigger it, as long as you're in range of an enemy, whether you're in the air above them or behind them or whatever, you'll charge into them and cut them down. So fucking cool. And that's kind of part of the task that the devs had here that made me even more impressed that they pulled off. They didn't just need to craft an arsenal that works in a great, well-balanced shooter, but they had to do it using only weapons from the 40k universe. Well done, boys. Now, the enemy variety and design are also similarly awesome. You've got everything from cultists with auto stubbers and plasma guns to demons representing multiple chaos factions, attack patterns from flame circles to plasma blasts, resurrection mechanics if you don't destroy their bodies, mini bosses, energy beams that home in on you, rocket launchers, grenades, even just your basic melee attacks. Fucking great. Total playtime here is roughly 8 to 10 hours. Took me about 20 minutes per level on average on the hardest difficulty, and like almost everything in the game, I found that to feel just about right. Even the 40k vibes, which if you have literally any experience with games in that universe, you know are notoriously difficult to get right, they're right here. From comments by your trusty Servo Skull companion saying stuff like, "Holy gears may not stop operation to preserve life. Do not disrupt machinery with limbs." And geometry has become non-Euclidean, to like enemy sprites lifted directly from actual tabletop models. This game is a love letter to Warhammer 40k that many people, including myself, were desperately hoping that it would be. It's not all perfect though. Some of the animations can be a little stiff and seem a little stilted. The hit detection can also be a little wonky. It often does that thing where simply touching an enemy does damage to you regardless of whether their animation frame is in a state where an attack could go off. In addition, some of the levels don't quite have the huge cyclopean feel that I believe should typify almost all 40K environments and locations. They're big, but not quite the yawning chasm of Lovecraftian style huge that like melts your brain, and that's kind of a bummer. And perhaps most tragically, the music just isn't quite up to where it really should be. Don't get me wrong, it's good, it's very good, but it's just not memorable. Maybe I'm spoiled by the absolutely incredible Dark Tide score and the other Boomer Shooter soundtrack done by guys like Andrew Schultz, but this one just really doesn't stand out that much, and I think that sucks. It's great. It definitely does the job, but it doesn't make you go, holy fuck. And I don't know, I think that's kind of disappointing. That aside, those are all relatively minor gripes when laid against the staggering achievement that's accomplished here of making not only a kick-ass retro shooter, but a 40K one at that. I'll even go so far as to echo other outlets in saying that this is easily the best 40K game in years. Chaos Gate, Demon Hunters, and Dark Tide, you know, you guys put up really good fights. Probably Chaos Gate, Demon Hunters overall more so than Dark Tide. Dark Tide, as much as I love it, it's really kind of a mess, but anyway. In the end, they're both marred by too much gone wrong, whereas Boltgun gets almost everything right. In the end, anyone looking for a fast-paced, chaotic retro shooter absolutely glazed with grimdark 40K goodness, or not, will love this. A-.
Yup, woke up, smoke up, blunt, then I pass out. Pass out. Huh? Woke up, what up, smoke up, blunt, then I'm back down. Back down. What? Yup, woke up, smoke up, blunt, then I pass out.